Hello there, beautiful friends from around the world. I'm your host, Blackenfist, and this is, I guess, something new. I've never done this before, but I got some of my subscribers right here, right now. They've all accepted to, I guess we just have this discussion, debate, whatever it is, on Goku's fatherhood. We got different opinions in here, so to me, this is good. So I really want to start with one of them. I think I'm going to start with Sean here, who is on the side of Goku being a bad father. I really want to lay it out. I want Sean to lay out his platform. So, Sean, you know what? Why don't we just get right into this, man? What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Why don't you just lay it out for us?
I think that Goku is a good person. Obviously, he's a pure-hearted person. But at the same time, I don't think he shows the qualities of a good, responsible father.
Mm-hmm. And you want to just lay out some of the reasons.
Some of the reasons. Well, he leaves a lot of times to go and train. For one thing. Sometimes he's had Gohan train with him, sometimes he hasn't. For example, on Namek, when the dragon was going to bring him back, he decided not to do it, even though that was an option, and there was no reason to do that. For him to train, there was no threat at the time, so he just chose to do it for his own selfish reasons. I think that's what his selfish desire for fighting drives him, I think, more than thinking about his children. Yeah,
I get where you're coming from. Yeah, the fact that he chose to stay on Yardrick instead of immediately coming home when he had the opportunity. That's what you're referring to? Sean?
Oh no.
He cut out?
I think he just cut out.
Oh, Pablo, why did you leave?
It's okay. Oh. Because I kind of wish he could. If he comes back, he comes back. That's fine. But if what he was trying to say with Yardrick, I wish he would still be here, because I wanted him to counter what I'm gonna say. Because what I would say is that the reason that Goku decided not to come back immediately is because he just had transformed into the Super Saiyan, which is a power that he didn't know how to control yet. Of course, the Super Saiyan at first was extremely violent, extremely impulsive, and Goku was struggling with all those feelings inside of him. And although, yeah, I mean, it is not ideal for you to be away because you're struggling with this, I guess, I don't know how this power inside you. I do feel that that the reason he chose to stay away from his family and friends and everyone is because he needed to learn about himself first. Needed to learn how to control this power before he, was reintroduced to, society. You could say he needed to isolate himself before he could do that. But and I wish he was here because I would want him to counter that. But if he comes back, he'll come back. But I want to go to Johnny over here because I feel like he wants. Oh, Sean, you back?
Yes, I am back.
Did you hear any of what I just said?
No.
Pretty much what I said is that I feel that the reason Goku decided to stay on Yardrick and not come back was because he had just turned into the Super Saiyan, and at first the Super Saiyan was extremely impulsive. It was extremely violent emotions that were running through Goku's mind, and he had not learned how to control that form yet, and it might have been not in the best interest for his family and friends, or maybe the Earth, for him to return in a state like that. So for him, I think that although it's not ideal for Goku to be isolated in that way and to be away from his family like that, I think it was not a good idea for him to be reintroduced into society while he's still struggling with this, and I think he just dropped again. So
Can I say something?
Blackenfist, yeah. Please, go ahead.
You know what? Yeah. Well, you guys say something, and then we'll go to Johnny.
Alright, what I wanted to say was, when you look at Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, when you first transform into them, you are a very violent person. It shows off the true nature of a Saiyan. So when you said, like, Goku most likely wanted to stay away from the Earth until he could control a Super Saiyan, it would make sense, because even look at Gohan in Super Saiyan 2 and look how violent he was.
Okay. What I wanted to say was...
Wait. I actually want to go to Johnny here because I feel like he wants to lay out his platform right now. So Johnny, I just want you to lay out the general gist of what you think on the issue.
Okay, so throughout the video, I did develop some more thoughts, but the general gist of it is that as viewers, I think we expected more of him being a part of his family's life, because death, in a sense, doesn't count in DBZ. So even though he was dead, I mean, you could think of it, okay, he's dead. There's two different realms. He chose to stay with his actual realm, like he was dead, so he just wanted to stay dead. You know, you can't have it both ways. And then just as far as him not coming directly back after he defeated Cell, I think this goes for how he is in general. Like, he's the best at what he does, and he's always ahead of the curve. So I think for him to stop training would be to essentially let down the earth, because every time there was a moment of peace, we saw what happened to them, you know, when they weren't prepared. So I think he was just always a step ahead. And I think the last point that I have is just that his kids obviously aren't average kids, so their maturity level is going to be different. I think Goku always measures it as how can they take care of themselves. I think if he feels they can handle it, like he knows how to assess their power. So if he knows they can handle it, then they're pretty much good to go. And I think that's kind of how it was when the series ended. I think he kind of knew they could take care of themselves, and so he just wanted to go off and do his own thing. I think he earned it.
All right, man. I like that idea because obviously, you know, in Dragon Ball, it's true that death doesn't count for much, and you know, some people can use that. Well, you know, death doesn't count for much, and yet he still chose not to return. So that's something. But I want to go to Ping Pong here. If Ping Pong is still there, you're still there, right?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I want you, because I know that you have I guess a hard opinion on this one. So I want you to also lay out your general platform here on what you think on the issue.
Well, I'm kind of in the middle, but I'm sort of leaning towards the side of Goku being a bad father. And the reason I say this is because there's sides to back up both sides, and but I feel that there's just more sides to back up Goku, like Goku being a bad father. Like at the end when he took Oob to go train, instead of taking his own son or any of his family, or even like Trunks or Vegeta, he just took this random kid that he just found to go train for like how many years until GT. You know, do you understand? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. Before I respond to it, I want to know if anyone else in here wants to respond to what he says. Okay, all right. I'll go with Eric because he hasn't had something to say yet. Okay. Then we'll go to you, Johnny. I know you want to say something.
The thing that people seem to forget when Goku goes with Oob is the fact that Goten is somewhere going near an adult stage. So he's growing up, he's becoming a man, and he's been with his son for so many years now, and the fact that people just throw that away at the fact that he went to Oob. Also, there's no indication that, besides GT, which I think we can all agree here, that really we can't look at that as such a valid source anymore, seeing as these new series are coming out. Besides GT, there is absolutely nothing that states that Goku never saw his family after he went with Oob, or after the training. We don't know if he went in between, because we see in and I don't know if you count this as canon, but in Neko Majin Z, there is actually a panel with him and Pan after he comes back from training with Oob, and Pan looks around the same age as she was when the tournament. So I don't know if you're gonna count that as canon or not, but I'm saying that Goten was growing up, he's already becoming a man. Goku, we have no source that states that he didn't see them for so many years, and Neko Majin Z, unless you don't want to count that canon, of course, shows him like that. So
all right. Wait, I want to go to Johnny, and I really want to get Ping Pong to respond after that. But, you know, just give him a chance. So Johnny, why don't you go?
Yeah, he mirrors a lot of my thoughts. Like, Goten by that point was mature, but I think Goku leaving with Oob is a little bit more altruistic than we give him credit for, because from what I remember, I don't think Oob even had a family. So Goku, in a sense, was like a mentor. He's like, okay, I've raised my family, but let me build this kid up. I mean, he doesn't have a family. He has this tremendous potential. Let's bring this out of him. Let me go train him. Let me go, you know, train him up and show him kind of like fatherhood, so to speak. I mean, have you ever thought of it that way?
Yeah, like Master Roshi.
All right, yeah, all right, Ping Pong. You got anything to say to any of what they said?
Yeah, well, I'm not exactly sure if this was canon or filler, but when Goku was fighting Oob, I don't know if you remember, but he was mocking Oob, and he said that his dad was a bedwetter and all that kind of stuff about his parents. So I mean, I guess you could say that proves that he has a family. I don't know if it's canon or filler, but whatever. So like, if it's canon,
I
then
have the manga if you want me to look.
No, I know. At least in the anime, Goku was making fun of. I think he was taking cheap jabs at Oob, but that was only just to get him mad, so he would, you know, actually fight. However, Ping Pong, I do like your point that Goku did leave. You know, pretty much he left his sons, and you know, he left everybody kind of hanging there. And although I do feel that is kind of a bad point on Goku, I do feel that you also have to put it in the context that, well, Gohan is already a grown man. He already has his own family. Goten was already 17 years old. So to Goku being 17, he's already grown up. Even though, however, I do feel that even though the majority of the job of the father has already been done by the time you're grown,
yeah,
you still are the father. Maybe Gohan still has to consult Goku on something. So leaving like that, I do feel, is a bad father point. But you have to keep in mind that his sons were grown. They were already grown. If anything, I do feel that Goku was kind of a worse, or if you really want to put it, a bad grandfather, if anything else, because he, you know, Pan is still a child. So, you know, and his sons, you know, his direct sons were already kind of grown up. But, but Ping Pong, since you kind of seem to be like the one who's really on the bad father side, do you have any other points for Goku being a bad father? Because if you do, I would really like to hear them.
Well, not exactly off the top of my head. I'd have to think about it. So, maybe you guys could discuss and I could think about it.
All right.
I'm still here too.
All right, Sean. Hey, all right, Sean. Even though you've been breaking up, but you've been listening. If you have any other bad father points to point out, I think we would all love to hear them right now.
Well, one, although this is a very small point, at the very beginning of Dragon Ball, even in fact, when we first see Gohan, he has a Dragon Ball in his head. As we know, with the case of the Dragon Balls, villains like to get their hands on them. Gohan possessing a Dragon Ball kind of makes him a target for other villains and stuff. And maybe that just speaks to Goku's confidence because he had just beaten Piccolo a few years back.
Yes.
But that still is not really showing concern for your own son.
I feel okay. I like this point. I feel like Johnny. I think Johnny, you want to respond to that, or do you or do not, or someone else wants to take it?
Hey, Blackenfist.
I think Goku just thought it looked cute on his head. I mean, I really don't think it was anything about him being cocky. He's like, oh, that's a Dragon Ball. It looks cute on his head. That's all it really was. I mean,
all right. I think Eric wants to say something too.
I have a side for this. First off, I want to say that how many years was it from Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball? Was it like 7?
It was 5 years.
5 years. Okay. So Goku, we can imagine that Gohan didn't have that hat from when he was first born because there's no way that would fit him at all. I want to say that first off, that's him kind of honoring, I guess you could say, Grandpa Gohan. Right?
Yeah. That's kind of what I was gonna say. I do feel that even though Sean has a point, maybe to put on like valuable trinkets on his son, you also have to understand that Goku got specifically the 4-star ball because that was his grandfather's, and it's kind of like a family heirloom to him, you know. So,
and another thing I want to say is that after I'm gonna say that maybe Gohan was 3 years old, but we don't know specifically. But after so many years of peace, you start beginning to feel like there's nothing left because like Piccolo was the strongest enemy that we saw in Dragon Ball. He was extremely strong. And after Goku defeated him, maybe he expected him to come back 5 years later. But the thing was, Piccolo, if you remember, Piccolo Jr., or I guess Piccolo as we know him in Dragon Ball Z, actually never really cared for the Dragon Balls. At least that's what I got. He normally cared for Goku. He wanted to kill Goku.
Alright, yeah, but I want Sean a chance to respond to all that. If you got any response, Sean?
Okay. Now, I understand I could understand all the reasons why he would have given Gohan that Dragon Ball to put it on his hat for him to wear. I could understand all the reasons for it, but what I'm saying is that still doesn't make him, those are not points to make him a responsible father. A good father. That's all that I'm saying. Those are just reasons explaining why he did it, not proving that he's still that he's considering his son's safety.
I see. I want to go back to Ping Pong here if he's has any other points, because you know, any other points that has popped in. Yeah.
Well, I just thought of this, but I think that Goku, when early in Z and throughout the series, he puts like a lot of pressure on Gohan. Like, he pressures Gohan into doing things that Gohan doesn't really want to do, like fighting, and like such as fighting Cell or
Cell's the biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah, and reflecting the Spirit Bomb, he put all that pressure to kill Vegeta. He's like, "You can do it, son." Then Gohan wasn't confident in himself. So I guess you could say it for both sides, but because Goku, he kind of gave Gohan confidence, but at the same time he also pressured him into doing things that he didn't really want to do. So I mean, I guess that's kind of on both sides.
I'll have Johnny, and then you, Eric.
I want to go to one of the points about. First, I want to go back to the Dragon Ball point. I will say that one way to kind of look at it is perhaps that kind of speaks to Goku's sentimental side. You know, if he did do that in honor of his grandpa, that does show, like, yes, he does care about people. But I'll kind of liken Goku to like the sports dad. You know, you think about how that father was like a sports player and he wanted his son to be really good at sports, so just trained him for years and years and years. But for this, it kind of goes towards fighting. I mean, you think about the Saiyan race. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, you could think of them as like just like testosterone fueled. You know, they're fueled by, you know, competition, achievement, and things like that. And so they're basically alpha males, and that's part of like Goku's true essence. You know, he didn't want his son to be a bitch. I mean, I'm not gonna mince any words. He didn't want his son to be a bitch. So he wanted his son to be strong. He wanted his son to be a leader, to be able to take care of his family potentially. And yes, Goku was a lot more sensitive, but I mean, I think that Goku just wanted the best out of him because he saw the best in him. That's just my opinion.
Eric, you got something to say?
Yes, about you saying that he's pressuring him to do something. Although that can be seen as a really good side, it could also be seen, as you said, as a side for the good. But I want to say that pressuring someone into doing something could be considered a good thing. Because think about it. Let's say the child doesn't want to ride the bike, but the dad knows that that child needs to learn how to ride a bike. He is going to tell that child, "You're going to ride that bike." He's pressuring him to do something that he needs to accomplish.
Yeah, I want Ping Pong to respond to that. If you got any refutations to any of that, Ping Pong.
But the only difference between riding a bike is that he's going to be fighting Cell, someone that could destroy the entire solar system. So if Gohan couldn't, like, he's putting so much pressure on Gohan that if Gohan failed to succeed at fighting Cell, all the stakes were extremely high. So Gohan and the entire solar system could have died. So all that pressure was riding on Gohan, and I think that was a little bit too much out of Goku, pushing it towards Gohan.
I think Goku knew everyone was gonna die anyway. So it's like he's really intuitive about power, and he's like, okay, look, we're gonna die anyway. Why not just push Gohan to be the strongest? Like, I'm a trainer, so you, as a trainer, you know what someone's potential is. You're gonna do whatever you can to bring the best out of them. Yes, it's tough love, but they were gonna die one way or another, to be honest, if you think of it that way.
And
yeah.
And
wait, I want Sean. If Sean, you're still in here. If you want to say anything on this.
Well, my whole point with that, as far as like in regards to the Cell fight, Cell gave Goku the chance to eat a senzu bean, which would have made Goku strong enough, considering Cell was much weaker after the instant transmission Kamehameha wave. Goku still would have been able to defeat Cell more than likely at that point in time. But he chose instead to put his son in danger because he wanted to bring out the fighter in him, but that wasn't necessarily the safest choice. It wasn't guaranteed either.
Wait, I want to move on. Like, Sean, if you have any other points to bring up or at all, in terms of if you have anything else you want to spill out, any other points that haven't been brought up in this conversation. As for, you too, Ping Pong. Since I just want like the opinions to conflict. That's kind of one of my ideas for this whole thing.
Well, I don't really have anything right now.
All right, guys. If we're running out of steam, that's fine. This was never like a full whatever. It was gonna run for as long as possible. So I guess we could just move on to like our closing. I guess we could say just our closing statements. I guess we could start with Eric here on just what we all think. What are the consensus here?
Personally, on the side of Goku being a good father, most of the points brought up had to do with the extreme tenses that is the Dragon Ball Z universe. For instance, I think Ping Pong said that something about that there's a difference between riding a bike and fighting Cell, but that's just the way it was. The extremes of the Dragon Ball Z universe might make it hard for Goku to be a good father. However, I believe in the end he might not be a great father, but I still think that he's good in heart and he cares for his children and acts as good as he can for his children. He's trying to supply.
All right, Ping Pong, your closing statements.
Well, I agree with you, Eric, that he's a good person and that I think that he tries to be a good father, but I don't think that he succeeds at it always.
All right, Johnny. What is your last final concrete laid out, man?
Okay, in summary, Goku was a better father than a lot of us give him credit for, because if we think about the circumstances, they live in a world where, even though you think about how his mom wanted him to be really, really good, educationally, but Goku knew how crazy the world was. The world was basically on his back. So instead of training him to be like a doctor, he's training to bring the best out of him so that he could be a potential protector of the universe. His priorities were always protecting the Earth, and he had the best resources, his own children. So he wanted to use them to kind of be able to do what he wasn't able to do. I mean, he died multiple times. So you got to think, he wanted to make sure that A, they didn't have the same fate, and then B, if he had that fate again, they could pretty much take over in his absence. And just as far as, I will say this, the one character flaw that he probably does have is the fact that he does kind of have that unstinting will to be the best. That could be a flaw, but it's a gift at the same time, because that caused him to go above and beyond and being able to protect people. So if you think of it that way, you think about how you might call a father who works insane hours like a bad father, but he's bringing home the bacon. I mean, how do you really do that?
All right, Sean, I want you to do your summary, man. Just lay it all out, man. If Sean is, yeah, just lay it all out.
I'm still here. Well, my summary. Goku is a good person. He is a great protector, but at the end of the day, he is still very much a full-blooded Saiyan that is, I think, a little bit too much concerned for training and has too much of a thirst for fighting, as well as he is, the way that he was brought up, naive about certain things. And while I think that, yeah, he does try to be a good father and does care very much for his children, I don't think he is as responsible father, or as responsible as he should be.
Alright guys, I think that's gonna close out everything. And you know what? This is the first time I've ever done something like this. I had no idea what I was doing, but you know what? I kinda liked it. I kinda liked having my subs talking directly to you guys and conversing with you guys. So you might be seeing more of these down the way. I want to thank each and every one. I want to thank Eric, Ping Pong, Sean, Johnny, Horse, every single one of you guys for joining me on this one. This has been great. This is something that I've never done before, but maybe I'll do one of these once again in the future, guys. But until then, guys, until the next debate discussion video, I am Blackenfist, and I'm out, man.